Have you ever wondered if certain individuals are destined to play a pivotal role in humanity's spiritual evolution? Throughout history, various traditions have spoken of the select few who would emerge during critical times to guide collective consciousness toward a higher plane of existence. Tonight marks a special moment in this unfolding cosmic story. The 144,000 chosen ones, those rare individuals who bear the crescent moon marking upon their hands, are said to be gathering their energy for a synchronized awakening that could fundamentally shift our collective reality. This isn't just another spiritual theory. The concept of the 144,000 has deep roots across multiple wisdom traditions, where they're described as souls who have maintained their spiritual integrity through numerous incarnations, now positioned to serve as beacons during humanity's greatest transition. What makes this gathering truly remarkable is how it transcends individual spiritual paths to create something greater, a unified field of consciousness that might just be powerful enough to initiate the awakening that many have long anticipated. I invite you to join me as we explore the significance of these chosen ones, examine the meaning behind the crescent moon marking, and consider what this convergence might mean for each of us, whether we bear the marking or not. By the end of our journey together, you may discover your own unexpected connection to this cosmic unfolding. Stay with me until the conclusion. What awaits may forever change how you perceive your place in the grand tapestry of existence. If you are a person who plants good in humanity, comment 888. What many fail to understand about the gathering of the 144,000 is that it transcends physical space and time. This convergence occurs not in conference halls or mountain retreats, but across the subtle energetic planes that intersect with our material reality. The chosen ones, marked by the crescent moon upon their hands, need not travel physically to participate. Their spirits know the way, drawn like compass needles to true north. This spiritual convergence represents a synchronized meditation of consciousness, where individuals separated by continents and oceans nonetheless find themselves breathing in unison, their minds attuned to the same cosmic frequency. It is a phenomenon that defies conventional understanding yet follows the precise mathematics of universal law. When 144,000 awakened souls direct their intention simultaneously, they create a resonance field powerful enough to shift the vibrational signature of our planet. The crescent moon marking is not merely a physical trait, but a symbolic representation of one's spiritual development. Those who bear it carry within them the perfect balance of receptivity and projection, able to receive cosmic wisdom while projecting healing energy into the collective consciousness. This marking may appear as a subtle birthmark, a unique pattern in the palm lines, or even as an energetic signature visible only to those with developed spiritual sight. What makes these individuals unique is not superiority but responsibility. They've maintained their spiritual integrity through numerous incarnations, refusing to be dulled by materialistic pursuits or distracted by the illusions that capture most of humanity's attention. The crescent moon signifies their commitment to remain awake while others sleep, to remember their purpose while others forget. This gathering transcends religious frameworks, though echoes of it can be found in many traditions. The Book of Revelation speaks of 144,000 sealed servants, Hinduism references the 144,000 rays of the heart chakra, and various indigenous prophecies mention this precise number as catalysts for planetary transformation. This numerical consistency across disparate traditions suggests a universal truth recognized by mystics throughout the ages. The chosen ones come from every culture, speak every language, and practice diverse spiritual paths. What unites them is not dogma but direct experience. Each has glimpsed the underlying unity of all creation and committed to serve as a bridge between humanity's current state and its higher potential. They are not united by what they believe but by what they have become. The convergence functions through principles similar to quantum entanglement, where particles separated by vast distances instantaneously affect one another. When the 144,000 align their consciousness, they create a coherent field that amplifies their individual contributions exponentially. This follows the principle that organized energy has greater impact than random energy. 144,000 lights focused through a single lens become a beam powerful enough to illuminate the darkest corners of human consciousness. This alignment is not achieved through rigid synchronization but through harmonic resonance. Each participant contributes their unique tone to create a symphony of consciousness. Some bring healing frequencies, others transmit wisdom, while still others anchor protective energies. Together, they form a complete spectrum of spiritual light, leaving no aspect of human experience untouched by their collective radiance. The primary purpose of this convergence is not to impose order from without but to dissolve chaos from within. The chaos we witness in the world, environmental degradation, social division, economic inequality, stems from humanity's fragmented consciousness. When we perceive ourselves as separate from one another and from nature, exploitation and conflict naturally follow. The 144,000 address this fundamental misperception by holding a template of unity consciousness stable enough for others to recognize and adopt. They don't fight against chaos but transcend it by embodying a higher order. Through their aligned vibration, they make available a new pattern for human consciousness, one based on interconnection rather than separation, cooperation rather than competition, and reverence rather than exploitation. Recent scientific research into consciousness provides intriguing support for the potential impact of such a convergence. Studies on collective meditation have documented statistically significant reductions in crime rates and violent incidents when large groups meditate together with focused intention. If a few thousand meditators can measurably affect local conditions, what might 144,000 highly evolved souls accomplish when perfectly aligned? Many who bear the crescent moon marking may not yet recognize their role in this cosmic process. They may feel a persistent sense of difference, a knowing that they're here for something important without understanding exactly what it is. This convergence serves as a spiritual activation, calling to those who have been preparing often unconsciously for this precise moment. The invitation extends beyond those with the visible marking. Many serve as supporters and amplifiers, creating the conditions necessary for the 144,000 to fulfill their function. If you feel drawn to this information, you may be part of this extended network of consciousness, playing a vital role in the unfolding awakening, whether or not you bear the crescent moon. To participate in this spiritual convergence requires no complex rituals or extensive training. The key elements are simplicity, sincerity, and surrender. Begin by creating a quiet space free from distractions. Center yourself through breath awareness until you feel a sense of inner stillness. From this place of presence, set your intention to connect with the unified field of the 144,000. Visualize yourself as a point of light joining with countless others to form a brilliant network encircling the planet. Feel the resonance between your own consciousness and this greater field. Allow yourself to become both transmitter and receiver, sending your unique contribution to the collective while receiving the wisdom and strength of the whole. Historical transformation has often followed the principle of critical mass. When enough components of a system adopt a new pattern, the entire system suddenly shifts. The number 144,000 represents precisely such a threshold for human consciousness. It's not arbitrary but mathematically significant, representing the square of 12 multiplied by 1,000, symbolizing completion and universality across multiple spiritual faithful group. As we approach this critical mass, we may witness increasing instability in existing systems as they begin to transform. This is not cause for fear but for hope. It indicates that the old patterns are losing their grip, making way for new possibilities to emerge. The apparent chaos of our times may actually be a sign that this convergence is already underway, steadily building toward the tipping point. While the convergence intensifies during specific celestial alignments, it's important to understand that this awakening unfolds across multiple timescales simultaneously. In one sense, it happens in an instant, a quantum leap in consciousness that transforms everything in a flash of recognition. In another sense, it unfolds gradually as the implications of this shift ripple through individual lives and collective structures. The 144,000 serve as anchors for both aspects of this process, holding space for the instantaneous awakening while patiently guiding the gradual integration that follows. They understand that true transformation must be both dramatic enough to break old patterns and gentle enough to allow new patterns to stabilize. Whether you count yourself among the 144,000 or feel called to support their work, your consciousness matters in this planetary shift. Every moment of awareness, every choice for love over fear, every act of creation that honors the interconnected web of life all contribute to the field of possibility that the convergence is activating. The question is not whether you're important enough to participate, but whether you're willing to recognize the importance of what's already happening through you. The awakening doesn't require your belief, only your willingness to allow your unique expression of consciousness to align with the greater harmony that's emerging. As you contemplate your place in this cosmic process, remember that awakening is not an achievement but a recognition of what has always been true. The 144,000 don't possess something you lack, they've simply remembered something you're in the process of remembering. Their convergence creates a field of resonance that makes your own remembering easier, more natural, and increasingly inevitable. The invitation stands: join this historic convergence of consciousness. Add your unique note to the symphony that's already playing. The chaos that seems so overwhelming from within the old paradigm appears very different when viewed from the perspective of the new consciousness that's being born. What seems like an ending is actually a beginning, the birth pangs of a humanity awakening to its true nature and unlimited potential. The path of the individual that possessed the crescent moon on hands is rarely comfortable or conventional. From early childhood, most of the 144,000 experience a profound sense of difference, a feeling of being in the world but not entirely of it. This separation often manifests as periods of intense isolation, misunderstanding, and even rejection by peers and family members. Far from being arbitrary suffering, this isolation serves a crucial purpose. It prevents the chosen one from becoming too deeply embedded in consensus reality. Like a seed that must crack its shell in darkness before reaching toward the light, this isolation creates the necessary space for their unique spiritual perspective to develop uncontaminated by collective illusions. Many chosen ones report spending significant portions of their youth in solitude, drawn to quiet natural settings or lost in inner worlds that felt more real than their physical surroundings. This solitude, though painful at times, becomes the fertile ground where their intuitive gifts first take root. Away from the noise of social conditioning, they begin to hear the subtle frequencies of cosmic intelligence that most humans filter out in the process of cultural adaptation. Nearly all who bear the crescent moon marking carry what psychologists might call a sacred wound, a profound experience of suffering that catalyzes their spiritual awakening. This wound takes countless forms: the early loss of a parent, chronic illness, near-death experiences, profound betrayal, or encounters with social injustice that shatter their sense of safety in the world. What distinguishes the chosen ones is not the presence of suffering, which is universal, but their response to it. Instead of becoming bitter or seeking escape, they turn toward their pain with courageous curiosity. They ask not why me, but what is this teaching me? This fundamental reorientation transforms their wound from a source of trauma to a gateway of perception. Through the crack in their ordinary reality, they glimpse something transcendent, a luminous field of meaning that encompasses and transmutes their suffering. This glimpse becomes the North Star of their subsequent journey, guiding them through further challenges with the unshakable knowing that reality is far more vast and purposeful than material culture acknowledges. Perhaps the most disorienting aspect of the chosen one's journey involves the systematic dismantling of their conditioned identity. While most humans spend their lives constructing and defending a coherent sense of self, the 144,000 undergo experiences that repeatedly reveal the provisional nature of all identity constructs. Career paths inexplicably collapse, relationships transform or dissolve, belief systems prove inadequate, and capabilities they once relied upon may temporarily fail them. These experiences, often misinterpreted as failures by conventional standards, actually serve as initiatory passages that gradually free them from identification with any particular role, relationship, or self-concept. This deconstruction creates the psychological spaciousness necessary for them to embody multiple perspectives simultaneously, a capacity essential for their function as bridges between different dimensions of consciousness. By the time they fully awaken to their purpose, most chosen ones have died and been reborn in identity many times, making them extraordinarily adaptable vessels for the evolutionary intelligence they serve. Many among the 144,000 possessing the crescent moon undergo what mystical traditions call the dark night of the soul, a profound spiritual crisis that strips away all certainty and comfort. During this phase, which may last for months or even years, they experience a devastating emptiness as old sources of meaning collapse while new ones have not yet formed. They may question everything they once believed, face their deepest fears, and confront aspects of themselves and reality they had previously avoided. This descent into darkness represents a crucial purification. In the alchemical darkness, the chosen ones release attachments, expectations, and illusions that would limit their capacity to serve. They learn to navigate by an inner compass rather than external validation, developing a relationship with uncertainty that later allows them to remain centered amidst collective chaos. When they finally emerge from this darkness, they carry a luminosity that comes not from avoiding shadow but from having fully integrated it, a wholeness that makes them naturally compassionate toward others still struggling in fragmentation. Unlike paths that emphasize transcendence of the physical, the journey of the 144,000 ultimately demands full embodiment of spirit and matter. Their unique challenge involves bringing their expanded awareness into practical application within everyday life. This integration often follows a period of intense spiritual experiences, visions, awakenings, or direct transmissions from higher intelligences that must be metabolized and grounded. This grounding process frequently involves health challenges as their physical bodies adjust to hold higher frequencies of energy. Many experience mysterious symptoms that confound medical diagnosis, requiring them to become intimate stewards of their own well-being. They develop sophisticated relationships with their bodies, learning to distinguish between true intuitive guidance and fear-based contraction. Through this process, they transform their physical vessels into refined instruments capable of detecting and transmitting subtle energies while maintaining robust functionality in the material world. A critical juncture in the journey of every chosen one involves the reclamation of personal power that was surrendered to external authorities. Many begin their path in established spiritual traditions, learning from teachers and systems that provide necessary structure and guidance. However, their ultimate destiny requires them to recognize where they've given their power away to institutions, belief systems, or spiritual practices that once served but now constrain their unique expression. This reclamation often involves painful disillusionment as they discover limitations or shadows in paths they once revered. They may be misunderstood or rejected by spiritual communities when they begin questioning dogmas or practices that no longer resonate with their direct experience. This separation, though challenging, initiates them into spiritual sovereignty, the capacity to discern truth directly rather than through intermediaries. Once this autonomy is established, they can engage with traditions and teachers from a place of conscious choice rather than dependency, drawing wisdom from many sources while remaining rooted in their own authority. One of the most subtle challenges faced by the 144,000 involves navigating the paradox of their extraordinary purpose within ordinary circumstances. Unlike the dramatic spiritual heroes of mythology who leave the ordinary world behind, most chosen ones must fulfill their cosmic function while paying bills, maintaining relationships, and addressing practical concerns. This apparent contradiction, being both cosmic agent and ordinary human, creates a unique form of spiritual tension. Many struggle with how to allocate their energy between mundane responsibilities and spiritual service, feeling constantly pulled between worlds. The resolution comes not through choosing one realm over the other but through dissolving the perceived boundary between them. As they mature, chosen ones discover that washing dishes can be as sacred as meditation, that professional work can be a vehicle for consciousness transmission, and that everyday interactions offer countless opportunities for healing presence. This integration allows them to be fully engaged with life while simultaneously serving as conduits for higher frequencies hiding in plain sight while fulfilling their cosmic function. The path of the chosen ones inevitably includes relationships that serve as powerful catalysts for growth. These connections, whether romantic partnerships, friendships, family bonds, or brief encounters, often generate intensity that forces profound self-examination and transformation. The 144,000 frequently attract particularly challenging relationship dynamics that precisely target their unresolved wounds or areas of spiritual development. As their journey progresses, the chosen ones increasingly encounter the necessity of reconciling apparent opposites within themselves and their understanding of reality. They must integrate masculine and feminine energies, balance spiritual receptivity with decisive action, honor both ancient wisdom and emerging innovation, and develop the capacity to be both vulnerable and powerful simultaneously. This reconciliation occurs not through compromise but through recognizing a higher order that transcends and includes apparent contradictions. This capacity becomes particularly evident in how they hold paradoxical truths about humanity's current situation, seeing both the profound crisis and the extraordinary opportunity, acknowledging both the collective shadow and the emerging light. Unlike many spiritual or political perspectives that emphasize one side of these polarities, the 144,000 bearing the crescent moon develop the capacity to hold the full spectrum of reality without needing to resolve its contradictions prematurely. This comprehensive vision allows them to respond to complex situations with nuanced wisdom rather than reactive certainty. The culmination of the chosen one's preparation involves a profound surrender to their spiritual purpose, a conscious alignment with the evolutionary intelligence working through them. This surrender differs fundamentally from passive resignation or blind obedience. It emerges from direct recognition of their place within a greater intelligence, combined with the mature willingness to serve that intelligence despite personal cost or inconvenience. This surrender often follows a period of resistance or negotiation, as the human personality grapples with the magnitude of its cosmic function. Many chosen ones initially attempt to create more conventional lives, feeling overwhelmed by the responsibility of their role. Some negotiate for partial commitment, trying to maintain areas of life untouched by their spiritual purpose. Eventually, however, they discover that full embodiment of their function brings an ease and flow that partial commitment cannot access. When they finally surrender to being fully utilized by the intelligence they serve, they experience a profound relief and activation of capabilities that remain dormant during their resistance. This surrender marks their transition from spiritual seeker to spiritual vessel, from one who strives to attain awakening to one who allows awakening to live through them. With this shift, they stand ready to take their place among the 144,000, carrying the unique frequency signature that completes the cosmic mosaic of consciousness. Their years of struggle, isolation, and contemplation reveal their true purpose not as arbitrary suffering but as essential preparation for the planetary service they are now uniquely qualified to offer.